welcome to the Tailoring Talk Show with me, your host, Roberto Revilla. I'm a bespoke tailor, menswear designer and owner of Roberto Revilla London Suit and Shirt Makers. This is the podcast where you drop in for the threads but often leave with something quite unexpected. I talk to self-starters and creators about their journeys, the highs and lows and the lessons they've learned along the way. If you haven't already, please support the show by subscribing, and if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please help me out by leaving a rating and a review. Welcome back to part 2 of the season 5 opener with Paramjit and Bruce of the Crazy Gin Company. In part 1, we got to learn how this amazing husband and wife team took an idea and turned it into a business success. The story continues, beginning with the mother of all challenges thrown before them, a seemingly insurmountable mountain of a problem that threatened to put everything they'd worked so hard for to waste. You're about to learn some valuable lessons in courage, perseverance, and doing whatever it takes to find a way over, above, around, and through. Ladies and gentlemen, let's rejoin Paramjit and Bruce for part 2 of the Crazy Gin story. Enjoy. So Harvey next, obviously, so presumably you're still stopped there.
Yeah, I mean...
Is it the same buyer, by the way?
No, well, it did change, and I got
okay, thank God for that.
very, very nervous. I mean, the day that... we became really good friends with the head buyer.
Things moved quickly because we didn't say, within 6 months of launching, the people that were making the gin for us sent Bruce an email to say, this is your 6 weeks notice. We're going to stop producing gin for anyone other than ourselves, so you're going to have to find someone else to make it.
It was as flippant as that, and if there was a way to punch through an email, it would have happened that day.
We had the same thing recently. We had last November. So we've been doing bespoke jeans for like 6-7 years. If you Google bespoke jeans in the UK, I think we come up for, like, we don't pay for advertising on Google. Everything's organic. So we come up number 1.
Amazing.
And we partnered with it. It was never a secret. In fact, episode 8 of this podcast is with Blake from Blue Delta Jeans in Mississippi, and they've got a wonderful story. But we partnered with them to do it because we didn't have the expertise here. And that worked really, really well. Worked well for the best part of 7 years. And then all of a sudden they decided they weren't dealing with wholesalers anymore. And it was literally overnight. We were having some import shipping issues and so on, and I was on the phone to him and he said, listen, I need to tell you something, and it's come from the top. We're cutting everything. We're now selling direct. We're not dealing with people like you anymore. And it was literally like you. It was as blunt as that, as cold as that. I was like, are you kidding? Like, we've done so much business together. Like, literally, I am on the cusp of like this jeans business is blowing up here. Like, we are getting so many inquiries now. The podcast is adding an extra dimension to it. Our Google listing, etc. The word of mouth is starting to spread as well. Coming out of the pandemic, it's a real problem for people. And then we were told, no, like, we're not dealing with you anymore.
How have you dealt with it?
What the hell? This is what I want to ask you. So what we did is we brought it in-house, and now we make our own.
Lovely.
And they're better.
Yeah. He did stand up, by the way. He did stand up to show us there.
Yeah, I had to, little twirl. So what happened? So you're hit with this bombshell.
I can even remember it was like 9:05 a.m. I mean, I started my job about 7:30 in the morning, and this email came through, and the copier took a beating in the Imperial College photocopy room. Yes, it was me. Now I don't work there. And then I just sat there, and I literally could not work the entire day. I just sat there, and my mind was in a spin, thinking, "Oh my God." We had this amazing start. We got our first Michelin star within the first 6 months. We got the Taj Hotel. We got Harvey Nichols. Not with huge volumes, but it was about those key listings.
Yeah.
And really breaking boundaries, as in, it wasn't just in Indian restaurants. It was in British restaurants. It was in different cuisines.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh my gosh, what do we do now? And I thought, well, actually, the scariest thing was, how do I tell Paramjit? So we got home, and I thought, well, I've got to bite the bullet here. I've got to tell you what's just happened.
Makes you realise in life, I've had to adapt the way I am, because I used to be very black and white, and I need to let go of that, because it does me no favors. Because no matter how many eventualities you try to plan for, this one wasn't on the cards, and it's always the way. No matter how much you plan in life, something's gonna come and it's gonna take the carpet from under your feet, and you just can't plan for everything, and it's how you adapt. You're absolutely right. So we thought worst case scenario was no one would buy the gin, and our life savings would go. We didn't think there would be people wanting to buy our gin and we can't make it for them.
Because also, I'm just thinking back to our sort of parallel situation with the jeans thing. Because you've got a good product, it's gone into one of our nationwide most loved stores. The people making it for you suddenly tell you, right, we're just making shit for ourselves, we're not doing it for you anymore. What happened with regards to, you know, the ingredients, the way it was put together and so on? Did they give that to you?
Yeah.
Did you already have it, or were you literally left like me on your own?
No, so it's quite blunt. I mean, fortunately, I did insist that we have a contract to start with. Any IP created was mine. Yeah. The business. Anything that they do relates to Crazy Jane. Any advertising they do, they have to seek out permission and to do anything. And I'd already had a couple of falling out with them previously at the initial stage, and they thought that they're well known. Let's put it that way. They're small but well known. They thought they could throw their weight around, but don't go up against a Punjabi who's got a bit of grit about them.
Yeah, basically.
Because I went and made friends with barristers without paying for it and got a lot of background information about how to fight stuff. So I did just kind of say, right, well, if that's the stance they take with me, because I thought we got past our issues, I thought we'd have some sort of relationship here, like build our brand, and hopefully it's supposed to be when it gets too big for them, we'll figure it out. But it's never on the cards. Like, Jesus, 6 months in already. So I did say to him, we need to see the recipe. You will now need to make us a bigger batch, because I've got to figure out what I've got to do. Yeah. So we're going to have a stopgap. But again, that's cash flow going out the door. So I'm thinking, well, I'm going to have to do like a triple batch or something.
Our living room was just
bottles.
full of bottles.
Oh, we're in Croydon, remember? Yeah. We're in South Norwood. We could have got jacked any moment if someone knew I had alcohol.
I grew up down the road from you, so...
So it's that thing of, now what? And then we just looked at each other and we thought, well, firstly, the most Indian response was, oh no, how do we let Harvey Nichols know? That's so bad. It's so rude.
It's also, what are people going to think of us? And the people we were worried about, what is Vineet Bhatia going to think of us? Because we were in his Michelin star restaurant. Harvey Nichols going to think of us. This is just embarrassing. They're going to think, I thought you were better than that. Yeah. And we were not, but we are better than this. So the initial thing was to see, it never crossed our mind that we could do it. If so, the initial thought was we need to find someone else that can make the gin for us. We've got the recipe, we've written it all down, and the more and more Bruce spoke to people, the more people were saying, you can't vacuum distill yogurt. And we were like, no, honestly, you can vacuum distill yogurt because it's been done for us.
Well, the best response I had to that one, which was at 2017, they were the most well-known for contract distilling with vacuum distillation, which is our lab equipment. They're like, it must be something special. The fact that you said something special shows that you are just winging it now. I don't think you know how to do it. And it was that case of nobody can do it for us. The people that were doing for us aren't going to do it for us. We can get an extra bit of stuff. But how the hell are we going to learn this? So I said, show me the process, beginning to end. And then I was like, well, okay, now we still couldn't find anyone to do anything, so then it dawned on us, potentially we're going to have to call it a day. So what's that mean? We lost our life savings. Yeah. Okay, back to our day jobs.
I mean, obviously your life savings are important, but I mean, you lost this dream that you both cooked up. But right? It's also worked so hard on.
Our last holiday was in 2012. That's literally our last holiday abroad, 2012. So we were like, we never used to go on holidays and everything. We used to save our money because mortgage is expensive. Yeah. And we were like, okay, so we lost our life savings. Back to the day jobs, which we both hated, especially doing something on the side. It's even harder to go and focus on I wouldn't call it a career, it's just a job for me. And then it was the case of, oh, hold on, okay, what's the alternatives? And we're like, hold on, what if? It's like the Drunken Friday night again. It's like, what if? If we've done this in 6 months, what if we went all in? As in, what if we quit our jobs, sell the house, move back to the Midlands, move back in with my mom, take the money, and go all in.
Yeah.
What's the worst that's going to happen? We're like, well, we lose all our money. But actually, we're there right now.
Yeah, we're there right now.
We'll get a job. That's the backup plan. And so we're like, sod it, let's go for it. So in 6 weeks, we did put the house up for sale. And it went a bit too fast because like within a week, someone placed an offer and it got accepted. I was like, okay, let's slow down. Let's slow down a little here because I had to find a space in Wolverhampton. We had to tell my mom that we're moving back in. Hey, Mom, we're back.
Get your licenses.
Licenses, which was a nightmare with HMRC. We then had to go and find the equipment, and we went to like the inventors of the lab equipment, so the Rolls-Royce version of what they were, and they just launched a new bit of kit. But it literally just been launched. Back orders were 6 months. And I was like, oh, I can't wait 6 months. And then you do that thing of gift of the gab. I just went in on him and I was like, come on, I'll buy 2. And even he was like, Bruce, why do you need 2? Like, just buy 1. I go, because if one breaks down, I'm what am I going to do? There's my backup there. And he's like, okay, I'll tell you what. I'll give you somebody else's order. It's supposed to go to a chemical lab. They ain't going to miss 2. Yeah, so he got that. And then we're like, okay, so we got the equipment. Our license is in the process. Still don't know how to use the machine, mate. Can you come and show me? So we had this the guy from Buki come all the way down. So Buki's the manufacturer of the equipment. Came down, looked at it, and he's like, I could kind of tell you how to use the machine, but I couldn't make it for you. So I was like, damn it. So we figured out the recipe. In June 2017, we moved all back to Wolverhampton, had our first distillery, did my first batch. 3 grams worth of alcohol. It's still sat there. It was disgusting. And the mindset of the people making it was just mental. They used one type of yogurt that I could only get in central London. That meant at one point I had to buy, I think it was 20 kilos of yogurt from Billingsgate Fish Market in summer in our car.
Oh my God.
Now calculate this. It was 30 degrees.
Yeah, and you've got a 3.5 hour drive back if you're, you know, as long as
you have no idea how many ice blocks I managed to find to pack it all up, come all the way back, and then we had ghee, 22 kilos. Ghee was mental. It changes price like the stock market. I was saying, come on, there's a lot of ingredients. So when it was all distilled, it just tasted horrendous. Oh God, I can't sell this. It's still back at the distillery. I have to figure out something to do with it. And then luckily I reached out again because 6 months had gone on, or a few months had gone on, and I thought there's got to be someone. And then we were introduced to a friend of a friend, and then they introduced me to someone else, and then we found our saviour, this gentleman called Ali Kelsey we call him. The funny thing is, his Instagram handle is called Chemical Ali. He's a white guy from Scotland.
Yeah.
So Chemical Ali with the crazy thing. Kind of sounded a bit red flag for every alcohol distilling license you could ever think of.
Yeah.
On background checks. But he came along and he was our saviour because he was like, this recipe makes no sense, because his background was actually he's a chemist. He reformulated absolutely everything. He streamlined the process, made it taste better, and the first batch we distilled ourselves was July 2017, and ever since then we've been doing it ourselves. And so it just goes to show that journey of having a business, it's like when you think things are just going awesome, it's like be prepared, there might be a turn. And when that thing goes down and it's going down in a ball of flames, it's like, well, is there a way I can pivot out of it?
It's vice versa as well, when you think, oh my God, I just need a break, and something out of the blue just happens and you're like, wasn't expecting that, like, wow, that wasn't on the cards.
You get all of those kind of, lessons come in. COVID, I think, was the biggest example of when something hits you unexpectedly, right?
Yes.
Because we were shut overnight. I'm sure a lot of other businesses, you're related to the hospitality business. Well, when I was doing delivery and Uber Eats through COVID to keep us nowhere near paid our mortgage, but anyway. But suddenly a few of the bars started opening up and started doing the home sort of delivery of mixers and stuff. And they started to do quite well out of it as well, because people were kind of having little parties in their back gardens and everything when the rule of 6 kind of came in. So, but still there was that adversity that pretty much everyone faced, unless you were a lawyer an accountant,
Yes.
a doctor.
Worked for a supermarket.
Any
Yes,
of these
gosh.
that, Ummi G told us we should be doing instead of being tailors and gin distillers and all the rest of it. But then also it's, the harder I work, the luckier I get, which is something that my big brother Petro always says. The harder I work, the luckier I get. I remember he always used to have that in front of his desk as well. And I always used to think, actually, do you know what? Keep your head down, keep doing what you can do, don't worry about anything you can't control. And, you reap what you sow at the end of the day. Sometimes you don't know. One meeting that you had that you thought went really badly,
It could be completely different. Yeah.
can make a big difference when you least expect it.
Because even with the brand now, the buyer's gone and we've got a new buyer, and during COVID they wiped 50% of the gins, and we're just like...
I was literally about a month before.
Oh, was it a month before?
A month before, he calls me up and he said, no, they sent out an email saying, they invited us to Manchester to do a tasting session with all the different independents. So as their customers come in, it's kind of like their post-Christmas party, because they have to drum up some sales around January. And I was like, okay, cool, yeah, I'll come along. And they were like, they came over to me and they go, hey Bruce, so great to see you guys. I go, oh yeah, how you doing? And he's like, yeah, great. Oh, just to let you know, we're wiping out 50% of our gin listings. And he goes, lovely cocktail, and he walked off. I was in the middle of telling someone a story. And then I just turned to that person I was telling the story, I was thinking, I'm sorry, my brain just fried there. Did he just say he's wiping out 50% of our listings? And we're like, yeah. And he goes, what, how's that going to sit with you? I said, I don't know what side of the 50 I'm on. So it took me about another 30 minutes to get the guy back. I go, so what side are we on? Yeah, you're good. I go, okay, word of advice, please. Next time, can you not just leave me on the hook like that in front of your customers? So we were still there, but...
It's the relationships that you develop with people, because last month we've just released a new gin, and for us it was always about taking people on a journey. So we've released my great-grandmother's recipe for an Indian cup of tea, but we've got our spin on it again take you on that journey. And they've stopped us and we've just launched with them again. And it's those relationships, it's about... people buy from people, and it's more than we've always said, it's more than a bottle of gin for us. It's a lot more than a bottle of gin. I guess it's what you were saying, it's relationships. The byproduct seems to be suits. It's about bringing people together, and it's taking you down, opening a world that you might not have known otherwise. Yeah. It's like you say with your suits, you love to see people's personalities come to life, the confidence come there, and that's what you do. And for us, it's about bringing the smiles on people's faces and taking them either down a memory lane or giving them an experience that they've never had before. But it's a happy memory.
And I think another thing, that the reason that we get on so well with Harvey Nichols, they taught us how to sell premium products. It's never about a hard sell.
Yeah.
People have to feel comfortable with you. They have to see you at least 3 times before they trust you and will engage. So we always used to do this churn of going around the stores. But when we also started thinking, we were brought up to not be a problem for a guest. If we're going to someone's house, don't be a problem. Clean up after yourself, don't ever leave a mess.
Yeah.
So every time we go there, we would take our own cup. We would take everything. The only thing that we'd ask for is a bag for a bin. And they used to be shocked. They go, you sure you don't need it? And they used to be like completely dumbstruck. That you guys are so easy. I go, what do you mean? Doesn't everyone do this? Like, we used to leave tasting bottles behind. They go, that guy over there has just really pissed me off, because he's had a go at me because he's run late. His stock hasn't turned up that he's supposed to bring himself. He hasn't got this. He hasn't got mixers. He hasn't got this. We don't supply this. And she goes, you guys are a dream. And we realized the reason that the buyers love us so much, because we also send them nice little gifts. It's also a case of, they say every single store loves you guys because they don't have to do anything, and they buy into the story. So when they want someone who comes in, wants something really fun packed and a journey of how it's done, they say you guys all the time. And it's like, that's how we base ourselves. It's not me or Paramjit sending a rep, hiring someone to go do for a day. Every one of us will turn up. So people go, so you make this. And they always look at me like, so you make in your bathtub? Oh, so how do you make this? Or do you can't be do you use copper stills? And we're like, no, you can't do it without copper. And I'll show them pictures and go, oh no, that's you in the picture. I go, yeah, that's you on the bottle. Yeah, that's my name written on the bottle. Okay, and then it changes. It's like if someone came to you, you said you had clients come and they weren't expecting you to be there. Like, oh, yeah. You're here. And it'd be the same for you if you go to a restaurant, a Michelin restaurant, and chef comes out, and oh my God, you're here. It's a great experience.
Yeah.
That's what you associate.
Yeah, no, well, I remember it just literally brought back a memory of Tom Kitchen when we were in Edinburgh and we went to eat at his restaurant. And it was so funny, we were in the kind of waiting sort of lounge they have at what's this place called? It's the kitchen, isn't it?
It's Tom's Kitchen.
Yeah. And we were in this sort of waiting area at the front, waiting to be seated. And Carolina's sort of looking, all his books are there on so she's looking through his book and everything. And then he just came up behind her and sort of put his hand on the back of her chair. And I had the biggest grin on my face because I was like, oh my God, like we see on Saturday Kitchen like every other week. And but she had no freaking idea. And so she goes, why are you grinning? And I was like, I'm just happy to be here. And then he got it, so he started smiling, and then I said, babe. And she's like, what? I'm reading this book. I'll go and get another one afterwards. When are they seating us anyway? This is taking ages. And I was like, no. Like, and I'm like looking like above her head, and then she's like, oh, someone's behind me. Who the hell is it? She's like, oh my God, it's you.
Oh gosh.
Oh my God, it's like he and I just cracked up laughing, but she just had such a great experience because of that. But that's the thing, right? So, if ever we were going to be going up there again, what would we do? We would go back there because we had that interaction. We know his story. There's a lovely little story about the dishes that they served that night as well, and he came and introduced each one at our table. I think she endeared herself to him after that. And there was also Larry the langoustine as well. So they came out after we ordered our mains, and so we're having drinks or whatever, and we're talking, and then he comes out and he's got a tray, and there's a langoustine on it, and it's alive. Wow. And so he's like, this is. We call him Larry, and he's
blah,
blah,
blah. He's also called Larry. He's like, this is Larry. We're just about to cook him for you.
Well, he didn't say that, but it was implied, right? So Carolina's like, oh, because she loves animals, and she's like, even though she eats so many of them, and she's like, oh yeah, he's really oh God, so sweet. I've never actually seen one sort of moving around before. And he's like, okay, great. We'll see you in about half an hour with the mates. Walks off. And I said, you realise that is going in a boiling pot of water right now? She's like, what? No, not that one. Another one.
That's Larry.
So what the hell do you think he was bringing the thing to you? He's telling you, showing you the ingredients. Exactly. That's how fresh it is. She was so upset. Everyone in the restaurant was laughing at us. They found it absolutely hilarious. But again, it's the whole personal thing, and then it creates memories that you never ever forget.
Yes.
Right?
And food and drink, and even business is like when you're making something that's got passion, it's more than just that product, like you said earlier. It's more than that product. It's about how it's made, the story around it, the passion that goes into it, and for that person to enjoy.
Yeah.
And just remember and tell that story to someone else and make those raving fans and those fanatics.
Yeah. But this all ties in with the vision that you both had in the first place, which was that it needed to tell that story, and it was all about you and your journey, and about bringing people together over food and so on. We haven't really actually done that much talking about the drink itself in the last, I don't even know how long it's been, hour and a half and beyond that as well. But that's what makes it special.
Yeah.
You take it beyond a product.
Well, and even when it came to, we got our listing with Sat Baines, which is just one of the most amazing moments.
Oh my God.
And that was, again, Paramjit, when we left London and moved back to the Midlands, we had a little bit of cash that we set aside just to go to restaurants that will inspire us.
So with our distillery, we distill, there's a little bar set up, but we always wanted to make it an experimental place because both of our products are very experimental. They're not a typical Punjabi chai, it's not a typical lassi, it's not a typical gin. It's a hybrid, and it all comes from imagination, and hashtag is unleash your imagination. That's what it's all about. So we were like, we want to create a space where other like-minded people that understand flavour, and you can be a chef, you can be working in the bar industry, to come along and to experiment. And then, so we had this chat, and our wedding anniversary was coming up, And I just remember thinking, we want to create an experimental place. Let me check out what other experimental places are there. Because I'm a big believer you don't need to reinvent the wheel. People have spent hours and hours and have spent a lot of money years into looking into this. And then I came across Sat Baines, who would want to go and eat at his restaurant, but he has something called the Nucleus. And the Nucleus is the experimental kitchen. And I thought, if you want to make something and you want to learn from someone, learn from the best. So I surprised you on a wedding anniversary. I took him on the train and we swapped trains at Birmingham, and I wouldn't tell him where we're going, and he's like, we're going to Manchester.
Because I thought you can't switch at Birmingham to go to London, so he must be switching. She's trying to mess with me and go back to Manchester.
And then as soon as you saw Nottingham on the platform, you were like, you haven't. And then we went there, but it just reminded me of your story. I don't get giggly, I'm not going to get shot. Soon as I saw, I don't know what, I felt like a teenager. Soon as I saw Sat Baines, I don't know what normally, I still to this day can't explain it. I was just a mess, like.
No. You made sounds that were just very hilarious. It's just like, we were all looking at it, and he's like, I'll be back. I've just come from the gym. Let me just get changed and I'll see you guys. And we told the sommelier, obviously, we bought a bottle for Sat and for Amanda, because we were like, how many people actually, we congratulate him for inspiring us, but also his wife was part of that journey, and people thank her or talk about her. So we gave them a bottle. We never expected that they were going to say to us, let's try it in front of everyone. So we thought it's just going to be a gift. He'll probably try it at some other point. Next thing you know, we go back being toured around the kitchen. Sat's giving us a personal tour. There's only myself, Paramjit, and another couple. We walked back into the main reception, and the sommelier just looked at me and knew what he was about to do. He goes, "Well, chef, the gentleman has brought you a gin. Apparently he makes his own Indian gin." I did say, let's try and sample it, but I don't think he's best pleased. I was thinking, why would you say that for? Look, I'm thinking, please don't open this in front of everyone, because if you don't like it, I won't look at Sat ever again. This can destroy it. And he just grabs a bottle and says, right, grab a glass for everyone. I thought, oh Christ, and there's this couple, we've been having a great chat with wife, they find it horrendous. And we're like, oh, okay, this is good. Oh, I'm so nervous. And he opens a bottle, and then he pours it, and then he smells it. And the words that he said, I wasn't sure which way this was going. He was like, smells like prote on a Sunday at Mama Baines' house. I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing. So I'm looking at Samela, I go, is that good or bad? He goes, that's good. If he mentioned his mom, that's good. And he loved it. I mean, like, great. And we said, this is not a pitch to get in your bar. No, or your restaurant. It's not. This is just thank you, chef.
I think it's gratitude.
Yeah. And then several months went by.
We were at a petrol station, and you went to pay for petrol. I was just like, oh my god, your phone buzzed, and it's Sat Baines'
Is it a DM?
name. Was it a DM? Yeah. And he's talking about wanting bottles, and I didn't know how to get to that bit. And
well, he actually wrote, and this is the biggest compliment. He goes, "Hey, chief." I go, can I call him chief? Probably not.
Don't push it.
And he's like, "Hey, chief, I need a few bottles for my gaff." Now I'm thinking, well, gaff, his restaurant is like his home. So I took my his restaurant. She goes, "No, he's home." So we had this debate. I said, "Well, can you go pay for the petrol?" Yeah. As she were, I was like, "Hey, chief, Paramjit's asking, is that for your house or your restaurant?"
I can't believe he sent that.
Yeah. And he wrote back, he goes, "For the restaurant!" Exclamation mark. I'm like, oh, wow. And it was such an amazing moment, because as a British Indian, as someone going into, like, a male around our age in the 80s, going into cooking and being a chef, everyone else will be looking at what kind of career is that for a man?
Especially when you think of his backstory as well, being,
exactly.
Being an orphan, being adopted, and all the rest of it. I mean, absolutely, he's one of my heroes.
And he's absolutely amazing when he said all that. And then the thing that really blew us away, around summer every year, everyone gets nominated for awards. So I must have about 3 different people pitching me for awards. And I was thinking, yeah, whatever, because they wanted money. And then the Observer called me. Literally, I have 4 phone calls in a row. And the last one was the Observer. So the Observer called me, hi, can I speak to the person in charge of marketing? I got to ask myself. And she goes, okay, just to let you know, you've been nominated for Judges Category. I said, yeah, whatever. The Observer. And she's like, no, seriously, you have? I go, yeah, how much you want? I was being very flippant to it because I had 3 phone calls that just annoyed me. And I was like, okay, don't mean to be rude. How many Observer readers are drinking crazy gin? And how many are actually going to nominate me? And she's okay, I'll sense your sarcasm. She goes, can you just do me one thing? I was like, what's up? So let me send you an email. Hang up the phone. I'll send you the email. Read it. Look at the list of who you're in judges category. So someone nominated you, and call me back. And she will take it from there. I was like, okay. So email comes through. So it's a list of the head of Waitrose, the editor of the Observer. I was like, yeah, I don't know these people. And then it was Romy Gill, Chef Romy Gill. And we're like, well, we know her because we did an event with her at Harvey Nichols, but we don't know her.
Yeah.
So it's not her. Nathan Outlaw, I was like, I wish. And then there's like Sat Paints. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me make this phone call. As I called up, I go, was this Sat? And she started laughing because I can't confirm or deny. I was like, okay, I'm going to DM him now. I go, so what do we do? She goes, nothing, just send some samples. Chef will be, they'll be judging it. And we were like, oh my God, forget about whether we win, whatever. The fact is we got him to nominate us. And
it was just the exposure, whether we win or not. It's just exposure
it
in front
puts you
of
on the
all
list.
of these people.
I mean, granted, we lost to Wagyu beef. That was a hard win anyway. But then just before COVID, we were contacted, so it's a few months later, we were contacted by The Observer to say, you guys have been listed for the world's top 50 food and drink brands. You're the only spirit in that. You're the only drink. I was like, oh my God, how do we get in that? And she goes, what? It's also based off of nominations. So because of that, we got in the world's top 50.
Wow.
And we had a photographer came down who has his own agent. He shoots the Rolling Stones and everything. It's the weirdest thing in the world. We had a celebrity photographer.
This is all because you took a couple bottles to him, just as we would as Asians anyway, because that's what we're taught to do. Don't go empty-handed when you go to someone's house.
It is the mindset. Don't go empty-handed. You've got to take something. And I feel so privileged that we're able to take something that means so much to us and give it as a gift to someone, as opposed to what shall I buy? Chocolate flowers, taking something off a shelf.
Yeah, exactly.
So I feel very, very privileged.
Don't get us wrong. I mean, times when it falls flat, you get no response. You're like, oh, but you're like, hold on, step back from the anger, take a breath, and think about it. Because why would that person have to respond to me just because they are gay? It's like if I got to do I respond to everyone? And I was like, okay, so sometimes it doesn't work, but the times it has worked, it's been amazing.
Yeah.
And but unfortunately, that was literally released. The press release was in February 2020. So we're like, yeah, let's get all the branding out and everything. We actually had people in the drinks industry who looked down on us massively, and these are well-known people who know us and they talk behind our back. For a reason, sending me DMs. Congratulations, you're in there. I was like, yeah, just because you couldn't make it. But it's like, it's that nice little gloat, which I thought was fine.
Yeah.
But it's that then COVID happened, and overnight, about 99% of our business stopped because retailers, restaurants, all gone, shut down, and then we weren't doing any sales online because we were in COVID where it's a £40 bottle of gin. You go down to Aldi and buy a £7 bottle.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and people are tightening at their belts, especially if they're suddenly not earning money.
Exactly.
Nothing's coming in. They don't know what the future's going to hold.
So that was a real hard time, but it then gave us time to think about the business, what it means to us. And the irony was, in 2017 when we moved back, I started pitching to people, why don't we do like pre-made cocktails? Oh, the looks I had. Oh, you mean like a Bacardi Breezer? I go, but you remember a Bacardi Breezer, but we'll just make it better.
The thing is, those pre-made cocktails do really, really well because you know what a lot of people do. I mean, even we do it. Like when we go to, like we're meeting friends in the Heath or whatever in the summer, I have to stop at Tesco's or wherever and pick up those
pre-made cans, and
those pre-made Pims and lemonade nonsense that all our Carolina and her friends like to drink, basically.
But people in the industry said it's the stupidest idea ever. As soon as lockdown happened, it was like everyone switched it. And we were like, and I think the best analogy I ever heard of lockdown was the founder of Shopify. And he said essentially what happened overnight is we went from 2020 to 2030 by using the infrastructure of 2010. And the person interviewed said, well, could you explain that? He said, well, do you remember the internet in 2010? How slow everything was. So he goes, can you imagine having that and then try and do VRs or something like that. He goes, that's what's happened overnight. So we all try to play catch up. But the good thing is, overnight, because entrepreneurs, small businesses are changing things like literally overnight, big brands are following it. Now the customer at home is more switched on to things changing, like a mobile phone. It's like a exponential rise that's happening. So things happening faster. But it gave us a good chance over that period. I mean, it's only now in the last probably 4 months things have started to pick up for us. So if you break it down, that's like coming up to 2.5 years of like horrendousness.
Yeah.
But trying to still stick to our guns, not making different flavors for the sake of it, because trends die. It's like you can't build you can build a business on trend, but you're constantly chasing your tail.
Yeah, but look at Peloton.
Yeah, prime example. Yeah. I mean, and then you look at other brands where they just stick to their core, and that's all they do, and you buy into it, and that's what they're known for. And for example, a lot of people hold out for discount. Like, I can't discount the product. Because to put in context, to make crazy gin, first of all, the lassi gin, it's very expensive ingredients. But it also takes me an entire week to make that, to bottle 200 bottles.
I simplify it because I had someone recently a lot of my clients don't actually ask price or anything. You know, especially my long-term clients as well, because they there's a trust there and so on. But also they know what they're getting. They know that they're not just buying, like in your case, I'm not buying a bottle of gin, I'm buying everything that goes into it. I know that you guys have actually slaved over and actually made it. You know, that bottle, the wax seal that's gone on there is you. And, you know, it's the same with everything that we do as well. And I really simplify it for people when I get the odd one that says, oh, can you do it for this much? Or give us a discount or whatever. And I just say, do you know what? I could do that. But that creates a win. Firstly, that creates a win-lose situation. You win and I lose. And I don't do business on a win-lose basis. I only do business on a win-win basis. Secondly, what's the second reason? The second reason is, if I discount, then it means I have to start thinking about compromising my product. And I'd rather not take a sale from someone than compromise everything that I and my entire team work so damn hard for. So if that's not enough for you, then I'm really, really sorry. We'll stay friends, but I can't take care of you.
No, I think it's true. You got to, because otherwise it's a case of you're being devalued. So why do they come to you? Because you get a quality and a standard.
It's like with you, like a £40 bottle of gin. Oh, that's expensive. Okay, fine.
But it's the wrong buyer.
This is you've heard our story. You've heard what goes into it. And if that still seems too expensive for you, then we're not the right product for you. Go and buy a £7 bottle from anywhere that you can buy a £7 bottle from.
And there's nothing wrong with that, because we never made a product for everyone. I don't think you can. Like the clothes that you do, you cannot make clothes for everyone.
That's why Savaret exists. That's why different brands exist, right?
At different levels within those brands.
Different levels,
You think of Apple. Apple, I think it's the most amazing brand to hook people in. Like, you don't need to have the best 1,000.
I think Apple's probably the one that bucks that rule, basically, because it doesn't seem to matter. I mean, even like a lot of my fellow delivery colleagues, I will call them, right? And some of them were literally living hand to mouth.
Apple phone.
You know, a lot of them, never mind having an iPhone SE, I mean, they had the Maxes, do you know what I mean? It's like, Yardis has got 0.5 terabyte of RAM on it, and the camera's really good, look at it. And I'm like, dude, man, you just moaned at me that you can't make ends meet and you spent 1,600 quid on a phone.
But this is the thing, they've made people such fanatics, but then the other beauty of what they've done, and I remember listening to Jay Abrahams, and he said it's not about discounting your product, because then again that compromises what you do, it devalues what you're making. It's about creating entry points. Fine, someone comes to you for a suit, it's going to be X number or whatever it is. Okay, if you just want jeans, it'll be this, or if you want a shirt, it'll be this, or if you want, it's entry points.
So
but you can still buy into the brand.
That's what COVID's done for us, inadvertently, and it's only now recently I've been reading and listening to podcasts where they're talking about exactly this. Where, I was saying to Carolina, we're getting so many bookings for jeans, and I'm seeing people for like 395, 495 jeans, and it's a whole hour of my time when I could be seeing someone who needs to get 2 suits, this, that, and so on, and the transaction's a lot higher. And I was a bit short-sighted, Because what happened is, like, one of the guys that came in for one pair of jeans loved them so much when he came in for the fitting, he bought another 5 pairs straight away.
Wow.
And when he came to get those, that was his entry into the brand. So suddenly he's looking at everything, bomber jackets, suits, jackets, everything else, shirts and so on, right? And he's probably going to become one of our best customers. So what I've inadvertently done is created all these other products that are basically an entry point into the brand, because previously when we only did suits and shirts, what do your suits start at? A grand. Oh, well, that's a bit expensive, isn't it? What else do you do?
Yeah, we used to have
Nothing
that
really.
with the flavour profile. It was one lusty gin, and if you liked it, great. If you didn't like it, or if you were vegan, you've had it. Whereas now we've got 2 different flavour profiles, still taking on the same journey. And one of them, actually, we were able to make vegan friendly as well, which is a Punjabi chai gin, because now we can have more of a conversation about what about this one.
Well, you look at the food industry, and Hotel Chocolat have done that brilliantly, because they have their massive sleekster boxes that are 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 quid. And not every, if you want a box of chocolates, you don't want to spend 70 quid. You go Dairy Milk. Whereas now, obviously, they have those little tasters that are 3. You can get 3 of them for a tenner, and you can try different things.
I do like Hotel Chocolat.
Yeah, me too. They don't, those big sleekster boxes never last very long in our house at all. So yeah, I'm kind of conscious of time, because also you guys have got to get back to Zora at some point, and also you've got a train to get all the way back up as well. So you're going to convert me, or, well, you're not going to try and convert me. I'm going to try this out. What recommendations do you have for, because I can't remember the flavours that I've been given, but I have got a list of instructions.
Oh yeah. So the lusty gin works really great as a simple gin and tonic, and because it's been fat washed with ghee to give you a really nice smooth mouthfeel, it works really well as a martini as well. Whereas the Punjabi chai gin works much better with a ginger ale.
So what we can, and if you like a Pim's summer cup style drink, what works really well is to, instead of using Pim's, use 25ml of the chai gin, 25ml of a sweet vermouth like coffee, and then you top with lemonade, a slice of cucumber and a citrus peel, whether it's lemon, lime, orange or grapefruit, works really well, and it becomes super easy to drink. With the lassi gin, a simple G&T works really well, but the way, again, you talked about aroma, if you put fresh coriander on there, if you love coriander, it brings all the herbal notes. If you put the fresh basil leaf, it gives a beautiful kind of aniseedy aroma, and that again picks out different notes, a slightly bit of the spices.
Yeah.
And then, you can go real simple with a citrus, and it makes it light and refreshing. So those are like the real simple serves you can do.
It's like what Chef Joseph Youssef was saying, it's thinking about your palate, what is it that you enjoy, and then tailoring the drink towards that.
Yeah. So you can actually really have some fun with it.
Oh, definitely.
Oh gosh, over the years with the lassi gin, we've probably done 55, 60 recipes. Granted, some of them are a lot of work, but we are still playing around with that. With the chai gin, we're still playing around. We're just keeping it simple at the moment. Summer's here, so the Indian summer that we call it, with the chai and the vermouth, that works really well.
We can give you some recipes if you want to put on your
You know what?
share.
Well, definitely. Also, have you guys not thought of actually publishing a book?
We thought about it.
He says we. Bruce has thought about it.
Oh, believe me, I thought about so many different things.
Paramjit
Yeah. No, I thought about doing a book. We also want to start doing a YouTube series where it will show you a bit of our process, but it will talk you through the basics of having a drink at home.
I think it's also taken away the pompousness and snobbery, because that's one thing I found. There's so many people that I've now come to realise in all fields, when you're not from a particular field, it's so easy to sell someone a story and tell them a lie. And the more you start looking into it, like when we were looking for someone to distill our gin, we kept getting told you can't distill yogurt. And we were like, no, honestly, you can, because we've seen it with our 2 eyes. And now I'm just like, and especially, I had a little one in the journey of all of this as well. And now I'm coming back more forward facing to the business, and I just think it's about stigma and stereotypes. And again, the YouTube channel isn't so much to sell crazy gin, It's to make it accessible and to take away the BS and to have honest, frank conversation about this is what it is. And I think we need more of that in the world. With social media and Instagram and everything else, sometimes when it's not your field, and I've fallen for it, you think, oh, this is the truth and this is how things are. And they're either not, or why do they have to be a certain way?
Yeah. Absolutely. The building trade's probably the greatest example I've come across recently, where they constantly tell you can't do things this way, or don't worry about building regs because this is the way we've always done it, and all this nonsense. When you actually research it and do your own homework, you realise, and there are fantastic YouTube channels now, like Vicky Lee is the one that springs to mind, the carpenter's daughter. This woman is absolutely incredible. She basically just does everything herself, and her dad's taught her. But whether it's decking, building a wall, mending a fence post, building a bookshelf, making stuff, and so her channel is absolutely amazing.
What was the channel?
It's Vicky Lee, the carpenter's daughter.
Love it. Because representation is so important.
Yeah.
And I just think how many females has she empowered to do that?
Loads.
And then you as well, being Asian and in the suit, in the clothing industry, how many people have you empowered to think, if Bobby can do it, I can do it? And that's what it's about.
Probably not that many.
So you say.
As long as it's not making your jeans. Try to copy.
Exactly. Oh, thank you so much for today.
Thank you for inviting us.
For absolutely ever. When my house is finished, will you guys bring Zari down and come stay with us?
We'll come armed with alcohol.
Yeah, no, we are going to have some. I was saying to KP at Founders Club that we could actually do some little mini events. So I just had a really good idea. Like Joseph, if he's ever wanting to do any experiments with a private group of people, we could actually use our new house to do that sort of
thing.
Love it. Yeah, we'd have to video them so that people know that it's not a freaking mansion, okay? And I'm not, let's just distill that myth right now. But no, we'd love to have you guys over. It's a shame Carolina couldn't be with us this afternoon.
We'll have to do it again.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. There you go. That's the sad thing. Thank you so much once again. Have you had fun?
It's been fantastic. It's been great. Easy chat.
I love spending time with like-minded people, and when you find them, you want to keep hold of them because you feel energised, and that's what we need. We need that energy. So thank you.
I feel like especially more recently, the last few months, I feel like it's not just my sort of network of professional contacts has grown, but people that I've really been able to connect with on a really deep, meaningful level. And I was saying to so it's funny. I was saying to a couple of guys I've been cycling with recently as well. It's like, I kind of feel like my family's I've got this whole extended family that I didn't know about that suddenly are all just kind of coming into my life. And
I love that.
My heart is very, very full. So thank you so much for coming down to see me today and spending time with me. And your story is fascinating. I really, really hope. We're going to share the hell out of this one because lots of people need to hear it. It's very, very inspiring. Very inspiring. And I'm the luckiest person because I get to edit it and listen to every single second all over again. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me, and I really hope you've had a fun and inspiring time with Paramjit and Bruce over this 2-part season opener. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and if you have any special messages for the Crazy Sings, email me at tailoringtalkpodcast@gmail.com and I'll be sure to pass them on. If you fancy trying some Crazy Gin, simply search Crazy Gin or check the show notes for Paramjit and Bruce's links. If you loved their story, there's plenty more to come. My recording schedule is booked up for weeks and weeks with a host of amazing and inspiring people lined up. Please remember to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. If you're enjoying Tailoring Talk and would consider supporting the show, you can now buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Roberto Revilla. Have a great week, and I'll see you on the next one.